Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Tension escalates in the Caribbean as Donald Trump bears down on Venezuela, declaring its airspace entirely closed. US Navy vessels patrol waters off southern Puerto Rico. US officials to meet with Ukrainian delegation on Sunday in Florida to continue talks on a deal to end the war with Russia. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seeks pardon in corruption cases, submits a formal request to the president. Cyclone Dwa inches closer to India's southern coastline after leaving a trail of destruction in Sri Lanka. 193 people killed and hundreds are still missing in the island nation. And Team India set a target of 350 runs in Ranchi in the first ODI against South Africa, powered by Virat Kohli's 52nd ODI ton, the highest by any player in any format of cricket. US Navy vessels patrolled southern Puerto Rico as the United States increased pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government. US President Donald Trump said the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela should be considered closed in its entirety. In a statement, Venezuela's government condemned Donald Trump's comments, describing them as a colonialist threat against the South American country's sovereignty and incompatible with international law. The Trump administration has been weighing Venezuela-related options to combat what it has portrayed as Maduro's role in supplying illegal drugs which have killed Americans. The socialist Venezuelan president has denied having any links to the illegal drugs trade. Trump has also authorized covert CIA operations in the country. And Venezuela staged an air show and parachuting exhibition in Marrakech, showcasing vehicles, drones and weapons from China, Russia and Brazil, while US President Trump escalated his threats, warning that the nation's airspace could be treated as closed. Now, 4 people have been killed and 10 wounded in a shooting at a family gathering in California on Saturday night, with the police calling it a targeted incident. The shooting took place inside a banquet hall in Stockton, northeast of San Francisco. The police said the victims, who ranged from juveniles to adults, were taken to local hospitals, adding that information on the shooting is limited. Authorities are investigating the matter but have not provided any details about the shooter. Information remains sketchy. However, early indications suggest this may be a targeted incident. Ukrainian negotiators are due to hold talks in the United States on Sunday on Washington's plan to end the conflict with Russia, with Kyiv facing pressure on both the military and political fronts. The Ukraine team, now led by Rustem Umerov, is due to meet U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Florida on Sunday. Washington has put forward a plan to end the more than 3-year-long conflict that it is seeking to finalize with Moscow and Kyiv's approval. An initial 28-point proposal drafted without inputs from Ukraine's European allies would have seen Kyiv withdraw from its eastern Donetsk region, and the United States de facto recognized the Donetsk, Crimea and Lugansk regions as Russian. The United States pared back the original draft following criticism from Kyiv and Europe, but the current contents remain unclear. And as Russia advances on the front line, its forces targeted Ukraine's capital and the region for 2 nights in a row, ahead of the talks in the United States. A drone attack in the outskirts of Kyiv killed 1 person and wounded 11 on Saturday night. The latest attack followed a Russian drone and a missile attack on Friday night, which killed 3 people and left hundreds of thousands across Ukraine without power. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian security source said Kyiv was responsible for attacks on 2 oil tankers in the Black Sea, which is believed were covertly transporting sanctioned Russian oil. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will visit French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Monday, as the Ukrainian leader finds himself in the most difficult political and military situation. The Elysee Palace, in a statement, said that the 2 leaders will discuss the conditions of a just and durable peace following talks in Geneva and the US peace plan. Zelensky was in Paris last on the 17th of this month. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has submitted a request to the country's president on Sunday for a pardon in his years-long corruption trial, arguing that criminal proceedings were hindering his ability to govern and a pardon would serve the interests of Israeli society. Netanyahu has long denied the bribery, fraud and breach of trust charges. His lawyers, in a letter to the president's office, said that the Prime Minister still believes the legal proceedings would result in a complete acquittal. Earlier this month, US President Trump wrote to Herzog asking him to pardon Netanyahu, who has repeatedly denied wrongdoing in the ongoing court cases.
My lawyer submitted a request for a pardon to the President of the state today. I expect that all those who place the good of the country above all else will support this step. The state of Israel faces immense challenge and alongside them, tremendous opportunities. To repel the threats and to seize these opportunities, national unity is required. The continuation of the trial is tearing us apart from within, stirring intense divisions and deepening rifts.
British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves on Sunday denied she misled the public over official forecasts ahead of this month's budget, saying she had been honest about the need to build up a bigger fiscal buffer. In a speech on the 4th of November, Reeves appeared to lay the groundwork to break the Labour Party's promise to voters before the 2024 elections and raise income tax rates, citing a weaker than previously thought productivity performance. In a letter published on Friday, the head of Britain's budget watchdog said it had previously provided the government with forecasts showing that its productivity downgrade was offset by increases in real wages and inflation, which Reeves did not mention. The opposition Conservative Party has said that Reeves should resign for misleading the public about the economic situation ahead of a 26th of November budget speech. Britain's government is set to propose a criminal justice system overhaul next week, aimed at cutting a backlog of nearly 80,000 cases, which have left thousands waiting for years for justice. The Labour government, which has warned the number of cases waiting to be heard could rise by 2028 without action, said the reforms would take forward recommendations from a review conducted earlier this year. A Justice Secretary to outline proposals to modernize courts and speed up cases to put victims front and centre. Some hearings are currently scheduled as far out as 2030, and more than a quarter of cases wait for over a year, leading many victims to drop out. In rape cases, around 60% of complainants withdraw before reaching trial. Suggested reforms include creating a dedicated division for mid-level offences, reducing the use of juries for minor cases, and allowing judge-only trials in complex fraud matters. However, legal organizations have raised concerns, arguing that limiting jury trials risks undermining a fundamental safeguard. Switzerland is voting on Sunday on 2 national proposals which have sparked wide debate across the Alpine nation. The first proposal seeks to replace the current men-only military draft with compulsory civic duty for both men and women. The second calls for imposition of a 50% inheritance tax on fortunes over 50 million Swiss francs, raising billions of for climate action. Recent polls show neither measure is likely to pass, but both have drawn strong views across the country. The government and parliament are urging voters to reject both the proposals, warning they would be costly and could harm the economy. Kyrgyzstan began voting on Sunday in a snap parliamentary election that featured no formal parties or opposition, and which critics say will cement the power of President Sadir Japarov. Polling stations opened at 8 in the morning local time. Only one party is contesting seats, down from 16 in 2020 after electoral reforms weakened party roles. Voters will elect 90 lawmakers, including at least 30 women. Recent arrests of 10 opponents and curbs on media freedom have drawn concern. Japarov, in power since 2020, praised electronic voting as a safeguard against coups while campaigning amid an ongoing energy crisis and strong Russian influence. Hondurans go to the hustings on Sunday to vote in a tightly fought presidential election beset by heated accusations of fraud in one of Latin America's poorest nations. Residents will arrive at the polls to vote in an election which remains a toss-up, with polls showing Nasri Asfura of the Conservative National Party setting a benchmark in the election. Whichever candidate wins a simple majority will govern the country between 2026 and 2030. In addition to the president, voters will elect all 128 members of the Congress and thousands of local officials. US President Donald Trump has weighed in on Honduras' tightly contested presidential race, backing Asfura, saying he can work with Asfura to counter drug trafficking. Refuting the rumors about Imran Khan's death, Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf Senator Khurram Zishan has said that the former Prime Minister and cricketer is alive and currently lodged in Adiala jail. He added that Khan is being kept in isolation as a tactic to pressure him into leaving Pakistan. Senator Khurram, who is affiliated with Imran Khan's party, said the regime in the country is threatened and scared of Imran Khan's popularity, which is why they have not allowed any pictures or videos of him to be released. Earlier this week, several social media handles from Afghanistan claimed that Imran was murdered inside Rawalpindi's Adiala jail. The rumors have coincided with the Pakistani authorities not allowing Imran's sisters to meet him for the past 3 months despite court orders. The issue has put Pakistan on the boil, with hundreds of PTI workers staging a sit-in outside Adiala jail, demanding access to the former PM and proof of life. In Australia, climate protesters in flotillas of kayaks disrupted shipping channels at Newcastle port over the weekend, forcing 2 vessels to halt operations. Police confirmed 32 people were arrested between Saturday and early Sunday, facing charges of marine-related offences. The demonstration targeted coal exports from the world's largest coal port, highlighting growing tensions between activists and authorities over fossil fuel dependence. The San Diego Zoo is mourning the loss of one of its most legendary residents. Grandma, a Galapagos tortoise believed to be 145 years old, died last week. She was part of the first group of tortoises brought to the zoo nearly a century ago, between 1928 and 1931, and was thought to be in her 40s at the time. Her remarkable lifespan made her the oldest living animal at the zoo. The Galapagos tortoise, an endangered species and the largest in the world, is known to live well beyond 100 years. In Tokyo, the Imperial Palace has opened its Inudori Street to the public for 9 days, giving visitors a rare chance to enjoy autumn foliage inside the palace grounds. The 600-meter avenue, lined with about 70 maple trees of 8 different varieties, has drawn families, tourists and leaf peepers who strolled under clear skies and captured the vibrant colors on camera. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Prime Minister Modi reflects on India's innovation and youth power in his radio program Mann Ki Baat. Key meetings are held in Delhi with 50 leaders from 36 political parties as the winter session of the Indian Parliament begins on Monday. And the 8th edition of India-UK Joint Military Exercise Ajay Warrior 25 concludes in India's Rajasthan.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls' pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the government of India, in a piece of breaking news, has taken a decisive step to strengthen the nation's telecom cyber security. The government has issued strict directions to stop this misuse and protect the integrity of India's telecom ecosystem. Under the new rules to be implemented within 90 days, all app-based communication services must ensure one key requirement. The app must remain continuously linked to the specific SIM card or mobile phone number card used for the account. In simple terms, if the SIM is not active in the device, the app cannot be used. Okay, let's bring in my colleague DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya for more on this. Tapas, what exactly is this move? How will this ensure that people, while using their mobile phones or the internet or apps, are better safeguarded from cyber frauds?
Right, Gautam. So let me start with the fact that if you are using WhatsApp without your SIM card, well, those days are very much over. Let me start with the fact that earlier, a lot of criminal activities or activities which were antisocial were happening when people used to take a VoIP, that is voice over internet protocol, or for that matter take numbers from internet which were not SIM based. What it leads to was it used to give antisocial elements a chance to lure other people into all kinds of cyber frauds. To stop that, the government have come up with a new system whereby WhatsApp, Telegram, Snapchat, all these kinds of app-based services which were earlier using web-based services now needs to have a physical SIM to verify and authenticate, and that is one part of it. So the second part is that if at any given time there will not be more than 6 hours of web WhatsApp, for that matter, will be able to use. They have to log out, and they have to do this process over and over at any given time. It should not exceed more than 6 hours. So that is one. There is another part is that I had to tell you, according to the new rule that just came, WhatsApp, or for that matter Telegram and other such app-based services, have been classified as a telecommunication identified user entity. This is a newly created category under the Indian telecom law, which will now oversight or regulate all those traditional all these web-based or app-based services, and all these apps now have to follow a set of cybersecurity and verification obligations similar to those one that telecommunication companies are charging. So that's a huge information that is coming out.
So Tapas, just wanted to get some clarity on it. This only then applies to these web-based messaging calling apps, or does it apply to other apps as well, such as if I want to log into my Gmail on my laptop or a desktop? Would I have to keep logging in every time it itself logs out? Or if I watch OTT on my laptop or my television, do I need to be constantly logging in repeatedly after every 6 hours, or will it just stay the way it is as it does presently?
No, this is only for the messaging services. So Gautam, this is for the messaging services. For instance, Signal, Telegram, you have Snapchat, you have WhatsApp, all these apps which have calling facilities at the same time. Even Google has certain, at one point of time, had certain abilities to make calls. That has been kind of deactivated.
And what about social media apps? What about social media apps like Facebook and Instagram, which can also be used for messaging and calling?
Yes, so all those, if you are not using a SIM-based mobile numbers, so the idea is to get authenticate through mobile and a SIM. So if you have a SIM, if you have a mobile which will be able to authenticate just like any other services that you are using, it is absolutely fine. So
Okay.
earlier there used to be, a lot of people used to create a lot of accounts which were, they used to take numbers from web-based generated numbers. If you remember, there was a
Right.
lot of hue and cry that happened earlier also when the cyber security, cyber digital arrest became a norm in a few weeks back. So to safeguard elderly, to safeguard all the people who are getting defrauded,
Yes.
this kind of apps-based services have been used, because not just inside the country, but what we have been seeing is that most these app-based services, or most of these criminal activities that are taking place, are happening outside the country, where it is very difficult to track them and pull them behind the bar. So those are one of the major concerns that the security agencies have, and one of the
Yes,
reasons
it's
why
extremely
it was
difficult to
decided that
catch these
only India-based
cyber
SIM
frauds,
card.
not only catch them, but also to
Yes.
recover the money which has been defrauded. But let's hope this really helps. Thanks a lot for joining us. For the moment, Tapas Bhattacharya. Now, Prime Minister Modi has addressed the nation in the 128th edition of his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat, on Sunday. During the program, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the inauguration of the world's largest LEAP engine maintenance, repair and overhaul, that's MRO facility, and the induction of Indian Navy's newest anti-submarine warfare ship, INS Mahe. Further, he urged citizens to celebrate festivals with the spirit of vocal for local. With Christmas and New Year shopping beginning soon, the PM emphasized on buying only what is made in India and selling only what carries the hard work of fellow Indians.
साथियों, मुझे खुशी है कि वोकल फॉर लोकल की भावना को देश के करोड़ों लोगों ने अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बना लिया है। इस साल जब आप त्योहारों की खरीदारी के लिए बाजार में गए होंगे, तो एक बात आप सभी ने महसूस की होगी, लोगों की पसंद और घरों में आने वाले सामानों में एक साफ संकेत दिखाई दे रहा था कि देश स्वदेशी की ओर लौट रहा है। लोग अपने मन से भारतीय उत्पादों को चुन रहे थे। इस बदलाव को छोटे से छोटे दुकानदार ने भी महसूस किया। इस बार युवाओं ने भी वोकल फॉर लोकल अभियान को गति दी। आने वाले कुछ दिन में क्रिसमस और नए वर्ष पर खरीदारी का नया दौर शुरू होने वाला है। मैं आपको फिर याद दिलाऊंगा, वोकल फॉर लोकल का मंत्र याद रखें। खरीदें वही जो देश में बना हो, बेचे वही जिसमें किसी देशवासी की मेहनत लगी हो।
And in a quick sporting update, India has taken firm control in the opening ODI against South Africa at the JSCA International Stadium in Ranchi. After Yashasvi Jaiswal's early dismissal for 18, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli steadied the innings with a fluent century stand. Sharma contributed a composed 57 before falling, but Kohli carried on in commanding fashion, notching up his record 52nd ODI 100. KL Rahul added a brisk 60, while Ravindra Jadeja's quick-fire 32 in the final overs propelled India to a formidable total of 349. In reply, South Africa's chase faltered immediately, with Ryan Rickleton and Quinton de Kock both departing for Golden Ducks in the same over. The Proteas find themselves in a deep trouble right now at, 15 for the loss of 3 wickets in 5.2 overs at the moment. Quite an uphill task lies ahead, and India seem to be in complete control of the match. And Indian opener Rohit Sharma added one more record to his kitty in the ongoing match against South Africa. In his explosive knock of 57 runs, the Indian opener broke Shahid Afridi's record of most sixes in one-day internationals. The Indian batter now has 352 maximums in just 270 innings, one more than Shahid Afridi, who ended at 351 sixes after 369 innings. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code, download the app. Easy peasy. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.